What's going on, everybody? It's Dot Bets checking back in as we get into our first YouTube video on the YouTube channel to go over the Week 1 DFS strategies, lineups, and recommended plays. In this particular video, we're going to go over our first looks. So we're going to go position by position and pretty much see value plays, who we think will end up playing, but nothing in this video is going to be official. We'll get those later on in the week. So if you like what you see here, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and leave a comment below on who you think goes off in Week 1 as we try to put together our best high-risk lineups each and every week so we can try to cash big. I know there's a difference between cash lineups and GPP lineups. We're going to specifically focus on GPP lineups. So we'll start out every week, like I said, with the first look, go to the top plays, and then go recommended plays from there on. You can also subscribe to my Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/.bets, as we will be doing live streams throughout the season, going over bets, going over strategies for DFS, and combining the two, and hopefully turning this channel into something big. So without further ado, let's get into our first looks. Let's go. So before we get going, we're going to check out Occupy Fantasy. So this is where I get a lot of my information. It's from these guys. Brian Jester, who is right behind me, has won millions and millions of dollars playing the beautiful game of DFS. And he's created his own website, Occupy Fantasy, with the Occupy model, the daily plugs, the lineup builder, and what they are. I mean, the ultimate guide. If you read this, I think it's an ebook. If you read it, you'll literally know exactly what you want to do each and every day if you're playing DFS. They teach you how to be the best DFS player that you can be. So check them out. Their membership is as low as $7 a week. And you can get into their Discord channel, which they have high-level conversations that are way over my head, but I try to keep up. But guys, check these guys out. I will have a link in the description below. Use that link. Go sign up with Occupy Fantasy. You will not be disappointed. Another affiliate I am associated with is BetUS, as you guys can see at the bottom of the screen. I have a 125% sign-up bonus with them. All you have to do is use code .bets, and you guys can get 125% sign-up bonus. So go check out BetUS. All right, so let's dive right into what we will consider Week 1 of the NFL DFS season. So we will go quarterbacks first. All right. So this is nothing official here. This is just me looking at the salaries, looking at who to think. Vegas lines, everything like that. So this is nothing official, but we will definitely get into who I think would be a good play. We will go over that later on in the week. So quarterbacks, who I like to target. So if you're targeting, it depends on how many lineups you're going to go with. So if you're a 150 maxer, if you're a 20 maxer, if you're a 3-entry maxer, or if you're a single entry guy. I'm not focusing on the head-to-heads. I'm not focusing on the cash games. I'm focusing on the big GPPs and who we need to differentiate ourselves and playing. As you guys will see throughout each and every week, there'll be guys that each and every website is going to have. Everybody plays Aaron Rodgers. Everybody plays Jalen Hurts. Whoever it is, they're going to keep playing them. So we got to differentiate ourselves as who we need to play that someone else truly isn't playing, because you're going to have to beat, especially Week 1, their lineup. I think the millionaire is like 1.1 million people in there. So it's an incredible amount of people, and you have to be very, very unique to win. But just looking at initial salaries, where we're at here, and initial lines. So, the Cards-Titans game, Browns-Chiefs games, and the Packers-Saints game, they're all three over 50 over-under. So those could be games that you might want to stack. So if you're looking at that, you're looking at Rodgers. Tannehill's on COVID-19 restrictions, but I think he'll be okay. And then one of my favorites to ever play in DraftKings is Kyler Murray, and then you could go over and maybe see some value plays down here, maybe a Carson Wentz, maybe a Jimmy G, maybe Tua, maybe a Daniel Jones. I mean, you just got to really look into each and every one, each and every slate, each and every game. Herbert should be pretty well owned, as he was the rookie of the year last year, absolutely went off. But just guys that have really, really good matchups later on early on the season, had good training camps, good preseasons. My initial look is just targeting those 3 games. So that it would be a Murray and Tannehill, it would be a Mahomes and Mayfield, and then the Packers Saints. So you could go a Winston, who is going to be a tremendous value play at 5,200. So I think he's going to be very highly owned. However, if you can differentiate maybe his receivers with him, or maybe plug in Kamara with him, maybe to just be a little bit different on that essence of the slate. But those, I mean, then obviously Aaron Rodgers you could play as well. So those are probably the 6 quarterbacks initially that I like, just because of the Vegas over/under total. And as you're going to go to running backs, so the main strategy with running backs is, if you're playing low risk lineups, which we're not trying to, we're trying to go high risk, would be to play running back in the flex position. Well, yeah, that even applies in high risk lineups, just because you can predict them. So it's kind of like MLB, where you can predict the starting pitchers very easily. You can predict the volume of a running back very, very easily. You know McCaffrey is going to get his every single week. You know Cook is going to get his every single week. You know Henry. You know Kamara. I'm not saying play them every week. You can understand, even if they are in a bad matchup, they're still going to be fed accordingly. So those are where you probably start, and maybe see what you guys can fit in. Generally in week 1, salaries are very, very what they call soft. So injuries happen throughout training camp, and there's a bunch of receivers right now that are 3,000, 3,400, which are very, very low. So you could plug in these top running backs in the McCaffreys and the Cooks, the Henry and the Kamara. In the initial look, Kamara is probably my guy. If you guys look at what he did against Green Bay last year in week 3, put up 47 DK points, absolutely went off. He caught 13 balls. It's plain and simple here. The Packers do not have a linebacker that can check him. Not many do in the league, so that's where he gets a lot of his PPR points, is with the receiving yards. With Winston being the quarterback now, it's only going to help Kamara. So he's probably my favorite running back of the slate. Another one probably would be Chubb, as I think he could go a little bit lower owned, because people think it's going to be a more of a shootout. Maybe Kareem gets a little bit more run, but Nick Chubb against this KC team, I think he did very, very well last year against. If he had 9 points against, that was a playoff game. I guess I didn't play him much, but you could always target those high games, or high total games, with Browns Chiefs, Packers Saints, Cards Titans, along those lines. Some value running backs that you could essentially play. Tevin Coleman is not bad this year. You got a running back by committee there. Damian Harris at 5,200 is going to be very popular, with his usage probably going up with the departure of Sony Michel to the Rams. And then like James White could be up there as well. But when you get down here, there's not too much value, unlike when we go to the receivers. So let's go into the receivers here. So as always, when you're making high-risk lineups, you're wanting to have the most correlation as possible. So it's either the 3-1 stack, a 3-2 stack, or so. So what does that mean? That means you're going to have a quarterback a receiver or a receiver from the same team, and then you bring it back with the receiver from the opposing team. Or you can bring it back with two receivers from the opposing team. So if you think if you think a game is going to go completely bonkers, you think it's going to be like the Rams-Chiefs game that had like 90 total points a couple years ago, and you stack that game, obviously it was a Monday night game, but if you stack that game on a Sunday slate, you obviously win humongous. So that you got to be right on the money though. So you're putting all your eggs in one basket with one of those games. So it does make it harder to happen, but you only have to be right one time. So we try to limit the amount of times that we can be wrong. So that's why stacking and correlating makes a lot more sense. And that, we will get into that with strategies down in other videos. Just the initial look though, you got all those receivers in the Packers-Saints game. Then you got all the receivers in the Browns-Chiefs game. And I'm not talking about Tyreek and Adams and all the Browns top guys. Like, you can look at value plays to throw in your receiving roles, that low-owned guys that go off and boom, you shoot up the leaderboard. So some guys that are chalk, that are way down here at the bottom, that I think a lot of people are going to have is going to be the Marquez Callaway. As you guys have seen in the preseason, he's been an absolute beast, and I think he's going to be the number one receiver there. Then you got Marvin Jones for Jacksonville, who should be the number one guy there. He's going to shoot up the ownership for sure week one. And then you got Elijah Moore that could be pretty well for the Jets, and Michael Pittman here. I think this Seattle-Indy game is going to be a little bit more high scoring than people think. So that could be a game that's a lower owned game. So that'll be for another stream though, as we get going into our top plays or whatnot and top stacks. Tight end, very, very easy to just plug Travis Kelsey in. Obviously the number one tight end. Just numbers are absolutely insane. He only had one game last year without double figures. One game without double figures in Draftkings, which is insane. He's priced like a number one receiver at 8,300. He's priced the same as Devontae Adams. Obviously, you throw Kelsey in there, you're pretty happy with an over/under of 53 in that game, and you think Kelsey can get a touchdown and probably 10 catches or so. But some value plays that you could play. So I think Kyle Pitts is going to be a no-brainer play. I don't know how much exposure I'm going to have of him. I should probably lock button him. I think he's going to have an incredible first game, as he didn't play much in the preseason. He only had one catch for like 27 yards. But this kid is going to be placed all over the place and be basically the number 2 receiver to Calvin Ridley in a passing offense that has shown that it can handle 2 big-time receivers. So Kyle Pitts is going to be very, very highly owned. So limit your exposure if you can. Don't really like anybody else down here besides Gerald Everett. So Everett's been getting a ton of buzz, and there's a lot of respect from Russell Wilson. So Everett is a guy that you can plug and play. I would think week one, maybe not a lot of people are going to play him, as he hasn't gotten too much buzz, as much buzz as like Tanyan, Pitts, or Gesicki, or Thomas. But I think he has a potential to break the slate. So I think Everett is one of the guys that you can, save some salary with to pay up for those elite running backs. As he came over from the Rams and had okay games for the Rams, but nobody throws to their tight ends like Russell Wilson does, and he absolutely raved about Gerald Everett. So do not be surprised if he goes off. He will probably be one of the top plays for me. And when it comes to defenses, what I like to do is really, really save a lot of. I don't like to pay up in high risk lineups. I don't like to pay up for the top guys. I go down here and I try to find a bunch of value in the 2,000 range, 2,300, 2,500. I probably won't go much higher than 2,500 unless the team just screams at me. These guys can help you win for sure, but they also can just give you the same amount of points as a 4,200 team from a 2,000. So it's very, very limited. So so yeah, that is going to wrap up our initial first look video of the YouTube channel. So if you made it all the way to the end, I appreciate it. And go ahead and hit that subscribe button below. More and more videos will be coming this NFL season as we go into our top plays next video. So with that, we'll get up on out of here. See you guys.